music and all the crazy stuff that might happen? Well, get this today's deep dive. It's about a 12-year-old who's already out there doing it.
It's wild, right? We talk about AI's potential in music all the time, but this kid's already living it.
Exactly. His name is Sunitha Rashminda, and he's the mastermind behind this thing called Nova Music Plus.
Nova Music Plus, yeah. Sri Lanka's first AI-powered music YouTube channel. And he built the whole thing when he was just 12.
12 years old. We're talking about a kid coding AI to write music. It's insane.
It really makes you wonder, how does someone that young even wrap their head around stuff like that?
Right. So to get the full story, we dove into this podcast episode all about Nova Music Plus. Turns out this kid's journey started way before most people even think about careers. We're talking grade school here.
Seriously. And that early exposure to tech was, like, crucial. You know, think about it going to Hasalaka Ranasinghe Premadasa National School, then learning to code by grade 4 at DP Education Sri Lanka.
That's not your average childhood.
No kidding. Then, by grade 7, he's already diving into C++ and Python at Worldturn International Campus. He even got into robotics. And then he finishes a full-stack developer course with the University of Moratuwa.
Whoa, hold on. Full stack developer, that sounds intense.
It is, but think of it this way. It means he learned to build and manage every single part of a software application.
Oh, okay. So that deep software knowledge, that's what set him up perfectly when he found out about what Microsoft Azure could do with AI.
Exactly. So by the time he's messing around with AI, he's got this whole toolkit, you know?
That's insane. But, okay, I gotta admit something. When I first heard about AI music, I pictured, like, robots playing instruments,
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
like a robot band or something.
But that's not what it is, not at all. It's not about replacing musicians with machines. It's about using these things called algorithms.
Algorithms, okay.
Yeah, they're like sets of rules or instructions that a computer follows. In this case, he programs them to look at tons of music data. They learn the patterns and then actually create original music.
So he's not, like, writing notes on sheet music.
Not in the traditional way. He's more like a conductor, teaching the AI how to compose.
Oh, wow. That's what we call an AI curator, right?
Exactly. He gives it the initial parameters, like the boundaries, and then
Then he just lets the AI go wild.
pretty much.
And that's where it gets all sci-fi.
Totally.
Right.
The AI starts making these melodies and rhythms we'd never expect, stuff that humans might not even think of.
It's pushing the boundaries of what we even consider music.
And that's what makes his approach so groundbreaking. He's not copying old music styles. He's guiding the AI to make something completely new.
Something that wouldn't even exist without this whole human-machine thing going on.
Precisely.
Okay, so practically speaking, what does this AI thing actually do for him? Like, what are the advantages?
Well, think about the normal hurdles of making music, right? You need a fancy studio, expensive instruments, a whole team of musicians. That stuff's a huge barrier, especially for a young kid who's just starting out.
Yeah, no kidding. It can be super overwhelming. But with AI, all that just vanishes.
Pretty much. He can make entire songs on his own, no studio, no band, nothing. It's incredibly efficient and, of course, way cheaper.
So that opens up a ton of possibilities, not just for him, but for anyone who wants to make music, right?
Huge possibilities.
Have you ever had, like, a melody stuck in your head?
Oh, all the time.
And you're like, this is a hit. But then you have no idea how to get it out of your head and actually make it into a song.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like humming the tune, but no idea where to go from there.
Exactly. But imagine just feeding that melody into an AI, and it helps you build the whole thing.
It suggests harmonies, adds instruments, like a music partner.
A really, really smart music partner.
The smartest.
It's amazing. But Nova Music Plus isn't just about Sunitha making music on his own. He wants to reach a global audience, right?
That's right. And that's another area where AI is really powerful because algorithms can look at so much data, including global music trends. They can actually help tailor music to different cultures and tastes.
So wait, instead of just hearing music that's popular where you live, you can hear music that's made for people all over the world.
Exactly. Imagine music that blends like Japanese pop with Latin rhythms or mixes Indian classical with Western electronic stuff.
Okay, now my brain's going crazy.
Yeah.
Could AI-composed music actually break down cultural barriers?
It's a really interesting question. Or will we see music become too similar everywhere? You know, like algorithms just churning out these perfectly calculated but maybe less authentic tunes.
It's kind of mind-blowing. It's making us question what creativity even is, what art means, you know?
Totally. And that's what's so fascinating about AI and art in general. It's forcing us to look at things in a new way.
Okay, before we get too deep into that, I want to go back to Sunitha's role as the AI curator. It's not like he just hits a button and lets the AI do its thing, right? There's still his creative vision involved.
Oh, absolutely. It's a back and forth. He might point the AI towards a certain mood or style, but then the AI, with all its knowledge, throws in these crazy chord changes or instruments Sunitha wouldn't have thought of.
It's like a conversation then.
Exactly. Human intuition and AI having a chat. They both learn and grow together.
And that's where the real magic happens.
That's where the magic is. This partnership blurs the line between who's composing and what's the instrument, the creator, and the creation. It's wild.
I'm hooked.
Right.
But I got to ask, what does this music actually sound like? Is it all robotic and weird? Or catchy? Give me the details.
Well, that's the cool part. AI music can sound like almost anything. It's not bound by our human ideas of what music should be, so it can explore totally new sonic territories.
Instead of copying old genres, it's creating whole new soundscape.
Yeah, it's not just about novelty either. AI can actually help us understand music differently.
Yeah.
Like algorithms can pick up on patterns and structures that we don't even notice consciously.
And that can lead to new ways of writing, performing, experiencing music.
Exactly. It's mind-blowing. We're not just talking about new music, but a whole new understanding of music itself.
Wow. Okay, there was one other futuristic thing about Nova Music Plus I wanted to ask about. Music that adapts to your mood in real time. Like, is that even real?
Sunitha has talked about that, yeah. And it's not as sci-fi as it sounds. We already have AI personalizing playlists and giving us recommendations based on what we listen to.
True, but actually changing the music as your mood changes.
Think about wearable tech, biofeedback sensors.
So it's not a matter of if this is going to happen, but when.
Exactly. And what Nova Music Plus shows us is that when might be sooner than we think, if a 12-year-old in Sri Lanka can be doing this.
Imagine what happens when everyone has access to this tech.
It'll be a whole new world.
Okay, I need a minute to process all of this.
Yeah.
AI composing, personalized soundtracks, a new understanding of music. My head's spinning. So as an expert, what do you think are the biggest implications of all this? What does it mean for the future of music?
That's the million-dollar question, and honestly, who knows for sure? But AI is going to change every part of music, from how it's made to how we listen to it.
So we're talking about the whole ecosystem of music being reshaped.
Completely reshaped. And I think the big challenge and the big opportunity is finding that balance between human creativity and AI.
Because at the core, music is human, right?
Yeah.
That's about emotion, telling stories, connecting with each other.
Exactly. And those are things AI, at least for now, can't fully grasp.
So it's not that AI is going to replace musicians. It's about finding how they can work together.
Right. To push boundaries, to make something new, but still meaningful.
That's a really important point. It's about using this crazy powerful tool to unlock more creativity, not kill it off.
Exactly. And Sunitha embodies that. He's not afraid of AI, but he's still so connected to the human side of music.
He's like a symbol of this whole new era where tech and art are totally intertwined.
Totally. And his journey's just beginning. I'm excited to see what he does next, and more importantly, how his story inspires other young creators.
To dive into AI and music.
To dive into the future. And it's not just him, you know? There are all these young people all over the world who are starting to play around with AI in music.
So this isn't just some little thing happening in a corner of the internet. It's like a global movement.
It is.
That's really exciting. But I got to ask, with all this talk about AI and algorithms, are we losing something important? Like, does it take away the human element of music? You know, the emotion, the passion, the things that make music so powerful?
It's a question everyone's asking, and it makes sense to worry about that. But I think the important thing is to remember, AI is a tool, like a paintbrush for a painter or a mic for a singer. It's up to the human to use that tool to express themselves.
So it's not about replacing human emotion, but giving humans new ways to share it through music.
Exactly. And if you listen to the music being made with AI, you can hear that human element. It's full of experimentation, people pushing boundaries, and there's some truly amazing music coming out of it.
That's good to hear. Because I think there's this fear, and I'll admit I felt it too, that AI will make music feel, I don't know, sterile, predictable.
Yeah.
Like it's missing that human touch.
Yeah, I get that fear. But I honestly think it's misplaced. If anything, AI is forcing us to confront what it means to be human, to be creative, to experience emotions in a world that's so intertwined with technology.
That's deep.
Yeah.
It's like AI is holding up a mirror to us.
It is.
Making us think about our own creativity and what it means to be human in this crazy world.
It is, yeah. It's one of the most interesting parts of this whole thing. It's not just about the music, but about what the music tells us about ourselves.
Okay, so we've talked about the good, the bad, and the deep stuff.
Yeah.
But let's get practical here. For someone listening who's like, okay, I'm intrigued, I want to explore AI music, where do they even start?
Great question. And the good news is there's a ton of stuff online. You can find tutorials, articles, even whole courses on using AI for music.
So you don't have to be a tech genius to try it out.
Not at all. There are so many tools and platforms that are super easy to use, even if you've never coded or made music before.
That's awesome. Can you give us some examples of these tools?
Sure. One that comes to mind is AIVA, which stands for Artificial Intelligence Virtual Artist. It's a platform where you can make your own music in any genre you can think of, from classical to electronic.
And you don't need to know how to read music or play an instrument.
Nope. You just tell it what you want, like the mood, the instruments, the tempo, and it creates a song based on that.
That's so cool. What else is out there?
Another popular one is Amper Music. It's similar to AIVA, where you can customize tracks, but it also has this huge library of pre-made music you can use for videos, podcasts, whatever.
So if you need music for your project, Amper Music is a good place to start.
Exactly. And then there are AI-powered plugins you can use with your regular music software. Like there's one called Orb Composer that uses AI to come up with melodies and rhythms, and you can add those to your own. Young people who are willing to experiment and break the rules.
Exactly. So to all the young musicians, artists, creators out there, keep exploring, keep pushing boundaries. The world needs your ideas.
You might just be the next Sunitha, inspiring a whole new generation.
That's a great message. Now, before we wrap up, I want to encourage everyone to go check out Nova Music Plus on YouTube. See what AI music is all about. You might be surprised by what you find.
And if you're feeling inspired, try making some AI music yourself. There are tons of resources online, and you don't need any experience to get started.
AI music isn't just for experts. It's for anyone who's curious and wants to try something new.
You might discover a whole new side of yourself.
So, as we finish this deep dive, I'm feeling inspired, a little overwhelmed, but really optimistic about the future. What about you?
Definitely. It's a time of huge change and possibility in music. There are challenges, of course, but I think AI can help us be even more creative and connected through music.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
It's crazy, right? We started talking about this 12-year-old making music, and now we're talking about, the meaning of creativity.
I know. From a kid's bedroom in Sri Lanka to the future of art. What a trip.
That's what I love about these deep dives. You never know where you'll end up.
This one took us pretty far out, huh?
Yeah.
We're facing some big questions about what it even means to be human in this whole AI world.
It's not enough to just be amazed by the tech, We got to think about what it means, what it can do, and, what it can't.
It makes you realize Sunitha and Nova Music Plus are more than just a cool YouTube channel. It's this whole symbol of where art and tech are going.
And that conversation is only going to get louder as AI gets more, intelligent, It's happening so fast.
That's why it's good we're talking about it now. Well, we still have time to figure out how to use AI in a good way.
To make sure it helps us, not hurts us.
To push our creativity further, not crush it.
Exactly. It's not about being scared of the future. It's about being smart about it. Knowing what could go wrong, but still seeing all the amazing things that could happen.
It's about being informed, asking the tough questions.
And having conversations like this one.
Where everyone's voice matters.
Yeah.
Musicians, tech people, even just listeners like us trying to understand it all.
Because we're all in this together.
At the end of the day, AI is just a tool, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like any tool, it can be used to build things up or tear things down.
It all depends on us.
Will we use AI to create, to connect, to make the world better? Or will we mess it all up?
Will we push boundaries while still being, human?
Will music change completely because of AI? Will it change us? Whoa, now I'm getting existential.
Big questions, right?
Huge.
But we can't just ignore them.
Well, after this deep dive, I'm feeling, awestruck. A little scared. But mostly, really excited to see what happens next. It feels like we're on the verge of something big.
We are. The future of music, of art, maybe even of humanity itself, it's all being figured out right now.
And we're all part of it. So, to everyone listening, Keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep making art. Let's make something amazing together.
With or without AI.
Because at the end of the day, the most important instrument is the human heart.
Beautifully said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. We'll see you next time for another adventure.